What she revealed was both powerful and shocking. A story that forced fans, teammates, and critics to rethink everything they thought they knew about the Indiana Fever's young superstar. It wasn't a scandal or a meltdown. It was the truth, raw, personal, and transformative, about what really goes on behind the scenes of one of basketball's most scrutinized teams. Before the glare of the WNBA spotlight, Lexi Hull was already a fighter. A Stanford graduate, an NCAA champion, and a player whose energy could ignite an arena. When the Indiana Fever selected her 6th overall, it wasn't just about athleticism. It was about spirit. But pro basketball, she quickly learned, doesn't care about college glory. The pace is faster, the stakes higher, and the competition merciless. Suddenly, Hull found herself benched more often than she played. The cheers faded, the minutes disappeared, and the silence grew louder than any roar. Inside the Fever locker room, morale was low. Seasons of disappointment had built a quiet culture of defeat. The energy was stale, the confidence fragile, and belief in a turnaround almost extinct. Coaches tried new systems, new players came and went, but nothing seemed to spark the fire. Then Caitlin Clark arrived, and with her came a storm. From the moment she stepped onto the court, the atmosphere changed. She brought cameras, expectations, and an unrelenting demand for excellence. For the first time in years, Indiana Fever games were sold out. Every seat filled, every camera lens pointed, every word magnified. But behind the attention was a deeper story, one of confrontation, change, and renewal. Clark didn't tiptoe into the league. She crashed into it. Her passion was unfiltered, her standards uncompromising. Practices became battlegrounds for accountability. When teammates fell short, she called it out. During one heated practice after a series of sloppy turnovers, Clark stopped everything mid-drill and let her teammates have it. Her words were blunt, her tone sharp, and the silence afterward was deafening. For a rookie to challenge veterans like that was unheard of. But it wasn't arrogance, it was desperation. Clark wasn't there to play nice. She was there to win. Some players recoiled, others bristled. But Lexi Hull saw something else. She saw a fire that reminded her of the player she used to be, fearless, obsessed, alive. That confrontation became her turning point. She stopped shrinking and started showing up. Hull began staying late after practice, shooting until the lights dimmed and her legs gave out. When Clark stayed, she stayed too. When Clark demanded intensity, Hull matched it. Slowly, their energies aligned. On the court, Clark's precision met Hull's resurgence, and together they started rewriting the team's chemistry. Clark threw passes no one else dared, threading them through impossible angles, and somehow Hull was always there to catch them, ready, confident, unstoppable. What began as tension became trust. The team noticed. The locker room felt it. The Fever's offense came alive, sharper, faster, full of belief. Aaliyah Boston fought harder in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell ran faster in transition. The bench mob cheered louder than ever. For the first time in years, the Fever weren't playing to survive. They were playing to dominate. But as success grew, so did the pressure. Every game was dissected under the harsh light of national media. Every mistake, every misstep became content for headlines and hot takes. Lexi, who had once faded quietly in the background, now faced her own share of scrutiny. Fans debated her every move online, judging her in ways few could handle. Still, Hull stood tall. She used that noise as fuel, proving she could thrive in the chaos. Keeping up with Caitlin isn't easy, she admitted once. It changes your whole life. Early mornings, late nights, film sessions that stretched past exhaustion. Hull embraced it all. She wasn't chasing perfection anymore. She was chasing purpose. The grind wasn't glamorous, but it was sacred. Every bruise, every bead of sweat was a silent testimony to resilience, but success, as always, brought friction. Across the league, the Fever's rise was met with resentment. Opponents targeted Clark with hard fouls and physical play meant to intimidate. The message was clear. If you can't outplay her, you outmuscle her. One night, after an especially vicious foul left Clark shaken on the floor, Hull snapped. Before coaches could intervene, she was in the offender's face, eyes blazing, unafraid of the consequences. The benches nearly cleared, the crowd roared, and the league took notice. That night marked a shift, not just in reputation, but in identity. The Indiana Fever were no longer underdogs. They were a family, unbreakable, united by something deeper than competition. Clark may have been the spark, but Hull became the flame that kept it burning. When Caitlin was injured later in the season, the team stumbled. The rhythm fell apart, the confidence wavered. Without their star, the Fever looked lost. until Lexi stepped forward. She reminded everyone that their strength didn't come from one name, but from the collective. Practices got grittier. Games became wars of endurance. They learned to win ugly, to grind through fatigue, and to trust each other completely. "We had to carry her fire," Hull said later. And they did. When Clark returned, she found a team transformed, not dependent, but empowered. The Fever had evolved from a one-woman spectacle into a unified force. Off the court, Hull's respect for Clark only grew. Fame can fracture teams, but it didn't here. Clark's humility balanced her fame. She didn't isolate herself from teammates. She embraced them. She laughed with the rookies, shared meals, and asked questions that showed she cared. She didn't want worship, she wanted connection. That culture of closeness turned the Fever into something rare in professional sports, a family. The challenges kept coming. Injuries, rivalries, pressure from fans who demanded perfection, but their resilience never faltered. Hull, who once struggled to find her place, now embodied the heart of the team. Her confidence wasn't loud. It was steady, deliberate, powerful. She wasn't the headline name, but she was the anchor. And Clark, despite every headline, knew it too. "She makes us better," Caitlin once said. "She makes me better." Together, they proved that leadership isn't just about scoring or spotlight moments. It's about consistency, accountability, and belief in something bigger than yourself. The Fever's rise wasn't built overnight. It was built in the unseen hours, in the silence after losses, in the shared laughter after long practices, and in the unspoken understanding that greatness requires sacrifice. Now, as the Fever chase redemption and prepare for their next chapter, one thing is certain: this isn't just Caitlin Clark's story or Lexi Hull's comeback. It's the story of a team reborn from struggle, shaped by pressure and bonded by resilience. Their fire has become something unstoppable, something that transcends the scoreboard. Because when heart meets hunger, and when teammates become sisters, even the fiercest storms can't put out the flame. But what about you? Do you think Caitlin Clark's leadership is changing the WNBA for the better? And can the Fever's chemistry withstand the weight of rising fame and expectation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear what you think about this incredible journey. And if you're just as inspired by their fire as we are, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more stories like this,